You need a healing? Do you need a healing?
If you need some advice to live a better life, call Kelly Kinkaid.
Kelly Kinkaid.
Call Kelly Kinkaid.
Kelly Kinkaid.
Call Kelly Kinkaid.
Kelly Kinkaid.
If you're young or you're old, she got what you need for your mind, body, and soul. Yo, call Kelly Kinkaid.
Kelly Kinkaid.
Call Kelly Kinkaid.
Kelly Kinkaid.
It's First Aid with Kelly Kinkaid on Sway in the Morning.
All right, Kelly Kinkaid is here with special guest Regina Robertson. Give a breakdown of Regina for us again, Kels.
First, she's my girl.
Okay.
And I'm so proud of her because she's the West Coast editor of Essence Magazine. So all those good stories, those cover stories, each month, that's her.
Okay, that's you.
And also, she's an author. And I'm gonna claim this for you. This book is going to be your New York Times bestseller.
I received that.
Okay. She wrote this great, it touched me. She wrote a book called He Never Came Home, interviews, stories, and essays from daughters on life without their fathers. And it's a great book because you talk about your story and you had other contributors like Simone Smith, LL Cool J's wife, Regina King, Emmy Award-winning actress Regina King. You have different, Gabrielle Reece. The sports, volleyball
model.
and it's not a color thing. This is just women who didn't grow up with their fathers. Sway and the citizens, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, approximately 24 million children under the age of 18 just in the United States live in a household without their biological father.
24 million?
Yes.
I thought it'd be more than that, to be honest with you. But that's a lot. That's tragic.
It's a lot.
Yeah, 24 million.
Welcome Regina Robertson to
you.
Sway in the Morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
This book, it connected with me because I'm on the other side of the range, of the spectrum, because I was raised with my mother and my father. My father was a huge part of my life. I'm a huge daddy girl. And I thought this was interesting because I have a lot of friends who didn't grow up with their father. What made you write this book?
It's funny. When I first started writing, my first national story, I want to shout out Deneen Milner, who was my editor at Honey Magazine. When I found my way to her, she said, write what you know. And I'm like, okay. I think I can write about this. So I found, it's been years. I can say there were 3 of my friends, and I changed their names, and I told their story. And I interviewed an author who wrote a book on this subject and a psychologist. So when the article came out, I always say that so many people reached out to me, but it was actually one woman, and her name was Teresa L. Sanders, who's in the book. And she said, why didn't you interview me? And I'm like, because I didn't know.
Right.
So, that was kind of the first spark, like, oh my God, maybe I could write a book. But that was like 2002. I'm a different woman now. I'm a different writer. And I think she planted the seed in my head that there were more people out there, because I thought it was just me.
And what's your story?
My story is I actually never met my father. My parents were married for 2 years, and he just, all I know is that he played basketball and he just went overseas, and I never met him. And it's funny, when I was writing the book, my uncle still lives around the way. I'm from Queens. And
his brother?
No, I'm sorry. I actually don't know
any of his family.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you say uncle, you mean on your mother's side.
My mother's brother, Al Farnell, he actually found out that my father died while I was writing the book, which was like, it was interesting, which is why I named my story Death of a Stranger. It's like, so how do you really feel? It's like, well, if any stranger passes away, you wish them a safe journey. But other than that, I just didn't feel anything.
You had no connection.
No connection.
Yeah.
So writing the book has been an interesting journey. It was therapeutic, but it was the hardest thing I've ever done. And if I could take myself back 3 years, I don't even know what I would say to myself, because it was the hardest thing I've ever done.
What made it so hard?
I think there are 22 stories in the book, and I think my story, I kind of, I wrote my story for my proposal. I had to adjust it when I found out the news, but I think carrying those 21 stories with me, because I really wanted to have writers write, but I ended up finding women who had the most amazing stories, and I was like, okay, I got to write that one. Okay, I'll interview you. I got to write that one. So I think I wrote about 14 or 15 of them.
Because in the book you speak of Regina King. What is her story about?
Regina King's story is really interesting. The book is sectioned divorce, deceased, and distant. So, and I always wanted it like that because I didn't want it to be like I didn't want to bash any particular group of men. I know everyone has a different story, so I'm like, there's got to be a way to break it up. So everyone who, regardless of the situation with your dad, like you were able to find something in the book.
Right.
So I always wanted to section that way. And I've interviewed Regina King a million times, and I was doing a cover story for her. And she mentioned her father passed away, and she talked about how, her parents got divorced. And when she got divorced, she noticed that she was repeating a pattern. Like her parents didn't really connect anymore as co-parents. And when she got divorced, she felt like she was doing that to her son.
Wow.
And I think it's a basketball game. I always get it confused, but she's at a sporting event for her son, Ian. And she noticed that she was on one side and her ex was all the way on the other. And she's like, is my kid going to be the kid whose parents can't even sit next to each other or speak at a game? So her story is about redefining family and, sort of accepting her dad and the choices that her parents made and not repeating them.
What about Nisa Rashid? I was a different one.
Yes, Nisa Rashid. She is, I always wanted someone whose dad was in prison, and I was like, I don't think I know anyone like that. But I remember reading Asha Bandelai's, I'm sorry, I mispronounced it. Her book, The Prisoner's Wife. And her daughter, her father was in prison the whole time when she, when she was born and, growing up, and she's a teenager now. And I didn't really know Asha well, but I always thought like, maybe I could get her, Then one day, thank God for Facebook. One day I made a comment on someone's page and Asha replied to me. And I'm like, this is the opportunity to reach out. So we connected and she's like, of course. And I interviewed her daughter and she loves her daughter, has the greatest relationship with her father.
Look, I want to find out, what did you hope to accomplish with this book? And I want to come back and talk about it. And then also, and I'm listening as a father of a daughter, and so I'm trying to find out how did these instances affected those who wrote about their story. Okay. And what you hope to gain from this book for your readers. 888-742-3345. If you're a daughter and you grew up without a father for whatever reasons, call us. Tell us your story.
It's Sway in the morning, only
on Shea 45.